Hey y'all, how y'all doing? When I tell y'all people, I don't even know how to feel. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just not gonna put too much energy into it, but I don't know. I'm just realizing a lot of people don't know God like I thought. Um, if I'm saying it right, I don't even know the words for this type of shit. But anyway, I just was having a discussion. Hold on, y'all, because I'm smoking, and I don't know if you can smoke on these things, but that's what I'm doing. I'm smoking. However, I just had a discussion with this lady about God, and she was telling me about the churches and how the churches changed or whatever, and they not like they used to be, and basically she's into church, in right into church or whatever, whatever. That's the thing. I was telling her like how I don't go to church, but I am heavily into God. I do worship God on a daily basis. And everything was going good and we were having like a good conversation or whatever. And I was, telling her how I'm not a religious person. I'm a spiritual person. I live my life spiritually. And she was all into it. We was talking, exchanging point of views or whatever, but of course, I guess when she heard my point of view on certain things, it kind of gave her some reservations based on what we were talking about. And one of the questions she asked me, she said, "Well, do you?" She said, "Do you drink?" This is how she said it. She said, "You drink?" I said, "I do, but I'm not a drinker. But if I want to drink, I will." She said, "Do you smoke?" I said, "I do." She said, "Do you smoke weed?" I said, "I do." And her whole expression, like the whole temperature of the conversation changed or whatever. And I could see she was just a little uncomfortable with my answer. And I was asking her like, "Okay, so what does that has to do with anything?" She said to me, "Well, that's not godly," or something. She said something to the effect of, "That's not godly," or whatever. So I was just like, just trying to understand. Keep in mind, when I start talking about my spirituality, it's a topic that's very uncomfortable for me because from experience, I see that it's a topic very uncomfortable for a lot of people. However, I was just trying to, she asked me to explain a little more to her about my spirituality. And I told her as much as I could tell her. And um, yeah, again, I stand on it. What does me smoking and drinking has to do with my love for God? I don't see how they go together. Like, what does one have to do with the other? In my case, now, if, depends on your beliefs, what you follow, that's on you. But I know in my spirituality, I do what I want. I get to do what I want to do and love God at the same time. I lived my life like that all my life. So I don't see the problem. Like what's the problem with what we're doing, what we're talking about? Because like I said, I probably experienced every drug known to man besides crack and dope. Sorry, y'all. And most of these drugs probably was done with a Bible in my pocket. And it still ain't changed my love for God. Nothing really, as far as my love for God, that hasn't changed. And to love God is all about intentions. It's all about your intentions. For example, you see me say I experienced drugs. I've done drugs, but I'll tell anybody with a set of ears that can listen, I have to be the user. It's against my spirituality to be the dealer. So you got to take that how it resonate. And that's just basically it. I live my life how I want to live it. Long as I do the right thing by God, what I do in my life is nobody's business. Long as I don't make it nobody's business. That's when things become a problem. Me doing drugs, okay, that's me doing drugs. But when me giving drugs and distributing drugs and, creating drugs and making drugs, now that's a whole nother ball game. That's not my field. So I just wish people took a little more time to really understand God. Like, give him a try. You'll realize, you'll come to learn that he's not like you thought. How could you judge me for drinking? God turned wine into, he turned water into wine at a whole wedding. A wedding. What does me having a drink has to do with my love for God? It's a problem if I drink and I lose my love for God. If my drinking is hurting me, my God will help me. Period. What I do in my personal life, long as it does not affect my relationship with God, okay. Now, what are we talking about? So, I don't know. I just wish people understood, really, really, really understood how this go. And I don't go to church for the same reasons, you know, other like people in the church go to church. I like to go to church for the ambience, like the beautification and the sceneric part of the scenery part of it. But like to feel like I can do all this demonic shit and then run to some building and that just makes me holier than thou. That's not what this is. That's not what I'm into. So again, me drinking, me smoking has nothing to do with my love for God or his love for me. And you people drink and just be responsible, be mindful, and be safe. Whatever you do, you drink, you drug, you do whatever you do. Just keep that with you. Don't put that on nobody else. Don't bring that on nobody else. What you're doing. That's when it becomes a problem.